Have you been to the gas station lately? Whoa, it feels like prices are just going up, up, up with no end in sight, right? Well, it turns out this isn't random at all. There's a very specific reason why this is happening, and today we're going to break it all down so you know exactly what's going on and why it's hitting your wallet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I am so glad you're here. So today we are tackling that big question on everyone's mind. Why is gas so expensive all of a sudden? We're going to cut through all the confusing stuff and get right to the story behind this huge jump in oil prices. This is perfect for you intermediate English learners because you're about to learn all the vocabulary you need to talk about these big global events. So here's our plan for today. We'll start with just how big this price jump really is. Then we'll dig into the main reasons why it happened. After that, we'll see what the experts are predicting for the future. And we'll wrap up with the key takeaways, a quick vocabulary review, and then I'd love to hear what you think. Sound good? Let's jump in.
Okay, so the very first thing to get your head around is just how fast this all happened. I mean, this was not a slow, gradual increase. Nope. This was a sudden, massive jump that really took everyone by surprise. Are you ready for this number? In just 1 month, the price of crude oil went up by 60%. It absolutely skyrocketed. Now that word, skyrocketed, is perfect here, isn't it? It means something increases very, very fast. It's a fantastic word to describe this kind of economic shock.
Yeah, just picture a rocket launching into the sky. Whoosh! That's what prices did. So when you hear that something has skyrocketed, you know it's a really big, really fast increase. Now, let's see what that looks like in actual dollars. To put that 60% into perspective for you, the price for 1 barrel of what's called Brent crude oil jumped from around $70 all the way up to over $112. And, it's important to remember, this isn't just about gas for our cars. Crude oil is used to make so many things, from plastics to electronics to even some medicines. Okay, so we know prices have skyrocketed. Now for the big question, why? Well, it's kind of like an economic detective story. It's a chain reaction of events that messed with the world's energy supply. Let's follow the clues together. So this chain reaction looks something like this. First, you have rising geopolitical tensions. That leads to key supply routes getting disrupted. And because of that, less oil is produced and available. It all starts with that first domino, the rising tensions. So when we talk about tensions in the news, we just mean a really unfriendly, kind of angry situation between different countries. In this case, it's all connected to a conflict in the Middle East that created a lot of uncertainty. And well, that made people who trade oil very, very nervous. And you guessed it, those rising tensions caused a huge disruption to the world's energy supply. A disruption is just an interruption. It stops things from flowing normally. Think about it like a huge snowstorm that closes all the roads. That's a disruption to traffic. In this case, the flow of oil got seriously blocked. And one of the biggest reasons for this disruption was the impact on the Strait of Hormuz. This area is a critical conduit for oil. A conduit is just a channel for things to pass through. You can think of it like a giant highway for oil tankers. And when that highway gets blocked, you get a massive traffic jam for the whole world's oil supply. So all of this put oil prices on what's called a positive trajectory. Now, let's pause here for a quick pronunciation tip. This word is pronounced trajectory. See how the stress is on the second part? Trajectory. A trajectory is just the path that something is following, and in this case, that path was pointing straight up. So we know how we got here. There was a disruption, and it pushed prices way up. But where are we going? What happens next? Well, for that, let's take a look at what the experts are predicting for the future. When you hear experts talk about the future, you'll often hear the word outlook. It's just another word for a forecast, or what they think is probably going to happen. It's just like checking the weather outlook for the weekend. You want a prediction. So what is the outlook from some of the big players, like the investment bank Goldman Sachs? Well, their analysis suggests that prices could go as high as $135 a barrel. And a big reason for this is something they call a risk premium. A premium is basically an extra cost you add to the normal price. Because the whole situation is so risky, traders are factoring in the risk. That means they're adding an extra cost today to protect themselves from problems tomorrow. So that risk adds a premium to every single barrel of oil. But hold on, not everyone thinks prices will keep going up. Some experts, like those at Kotak Securities, think we could see a reversal. A reversal is just a change in the opposite direction. They believe that if the tensions in the world ease up, prices could fall just as fast as they went up. So basically, analysts are looking at two very different scenarios. A scenario is just a possible future situation. In one scenario, things calm down and we see that price reversal. But in the other, less optimistic scenario, the conflict continues and prices could keep climbing, maybe towards $130 or even more.
Okay, that was a lot of information, I know. So let's just pause and boil this all down to the most important points that you should remember from all this.
First off, oil prices skyrocketed, jumping about 60% in a super short time. Second, the main reason for this is conflict in the Middle East, which disrupted major supply routes. Third, experts have a few different scenarios, but the general outlook is that prices will probably stay high if nothing changes. And finally, the big lesson here is that a problem in one part of the world can really affect all of us, no matter where we live.
All right, that's the story. But now comes my favorite part. Because this is a global issue, I really want to hear what you think. And it's a great chance for you to practice using this new language. So, let's discuss. So, a couple of questions for you. First, have the fuel prices skyrocketed in your country? Let me know. And what do you think will happen next? Do you think we'll see prices keep climbing, or are you hoping for a reversal? And also, I'd love to know, is learning English with the news like this helpful for you? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, before we go, let's do a super quick review of all those great new words we learned today. Remembering these will really help you understand the news when you hear this topic being discussed. So, we learned that prices can skyrocket when there are geopolitical tensions. These tensions can cause a major disruption to a critical conduit for oil. The future outlook includes a few different scenarios, which could mean paying a risk premium for a while, or maybe even seeing a price reversal. And that's a wrap. It's a really complex story, but you did an amazing job following along. You're now totally equipped with the language and the context to understand what's happening. Seriously, great work today. If you found this explainer helpful, it would mean the world to me if you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our next one. And for a little extra practice, comment below with one new word you learned today. Thanks so much for learning with me, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye for now.